Hello everybody and welcome back to my Motorsport Manager series, where we are heading into the opening race of Season 3, Round 1 in Russia. And we obviously got a few changes and tweaks to the team from last season. We've got a new driver. Laura sadly left the team at the end of the season because I couldn't renew her contract. I couldn't meet her demands. So we've signed a new driver. We sadly don't have any paid drivers, so unfortunately finances are going to be pretty heavily hit each race unless we can deliver on our sponsors' objectives. Hopefully my car is going to be better performing this season than it was last season. Again, I didn't seem to make the great leaps in the pre-season car design that I wanted to make. The good thing is I have made sure I've carried over better parts this season. I got my mechanics doing the performance work and got it completed, so every part that I've brought over is at its maximum level this time round. So my car is actually on paper looking quite competitive. I have managed to design and build a couple of parts before this race, just to try and offset some of the weak areas and the reliability issues that you get in these opening first races of the championship. The downside to that is that my cars at this moment in time are slightly on the illegal side. They do have risky components, so I could be setting a record here for getting pulled up for rule infringements in the opening race of the season. I hope that's not the case. I have tried. I'm only going sort of low risk on one car, medium risk on another. On the other car, I think Webb's car is the one that's probably the most risky car of the two, that's infringing the rules the most. But like I say, I'm hoping that the stewards in this opening race of the season will be a little bit more inclined to look the other way to these things. And like they had last season, they never pulled me up at all last season, despite the fact I was cheating pretty much every race with illegal parts on the car. They never pulled me up, so I'm hoping this season I get away with that in this race. I won't be keeping the parts on the car going forward. It's just purely the opening tier for the development. There wasn't a lot to pick from that gave me any kind of, that gave me, you know, the positive stats. Again, you know, like every time I've gone to develop parts in this save so far, there's always seems to be a lot of components that carry risk, and that's pretty much what I've run into on like the opening, you know, the good, you know, level parts. So yeah, I've had to go and pick risky components just so I can unlock the next tier. And then obviously once I start getting through the part development a bit, I'm obviously not going to be forced to pick any risky parts. But there wasn't really a lot of options. It was stuff like red zone, the big red zone increases, and I was like, I don't want to, you know, not for your opening rate. You know, reliability is an issue in the first race of the season anyway. The last thing you want to do is go for components that have got massive amount of red zone, because your increase then of mechanical failure is a lot higher. But actually, I should probably focus more on what's actually happening on track right now. We are actually leading the race. We are first and second. So yeah, the car is performing well at this point. And obviously we've got the new energy recovery system in place. So I'm going to charge the batteries up as best I can. In fact, we're already getting close to lapping some of the field. It's only been 4 laps and we're about to lap the last couple of cars. Obviously, Gaspar is my new driver. He's a 4-star driver, I believe. So, on par with Lara in terms of ability, but sadly doesn't have the pay driver tag. On the plus side, isn't quite as demanding in terms of wages as Lara was, and has signed for 3 years. So I get 3 years with a decent driver. Now, like I say, hopefully by the time his contract comes up for renewal, I'm in the second tier. Because like I say, this season I want to be championship challenging. I would like to win the championship this year. I wouldn't accept and take promotion if I did win it, because again the car isn't ready for it. But I would then be happy to defend the car, the title in the 4th season, and then if I manage to successfully defend the title, I would then probably take promotion. So the 5th season I would be starting in Tier 2, which means Gaspar would have 1 season in Tier 2 before his contract comes up for renewal, and that would be a good indication then for him whether he would want to re-sign with the team, because we would be in that next level of competition, so he would be more probably inclined to want to stay. At the same time, I may be able to attract some other drivers, and again it might be nice to... I certainly would like to bring in paid drivers, just to keep the finances manageable. And that's something new as well. Obviously, because of the energy recovery system, you have the option in the pit stops of charging the battery on the car. That's something new as well. And again, that's a time thing to consider. I mean, I'm probably okay, I think, because I think the batteries I have in my car that I picked when I was designing the car in the off-season, they charge fairly quickly. They don't start out with a great massive amount of charge at the beginning of the race, but they do charge quickly as the race goes on. But I'm not going to do any charging of the battery in the pit stops, because you can actually damage the battery and then you lose the ERS system, which obviously then has a performance impact on you during the race. I just used his ERS to give him a boost as he come into the pits, and now I'm going to use Webb's ERS to give him a boost to hopefully overtake Gaspar whilst Gaspar is in the pits. Here he comes. Yep, Webb's gone through. Perfect. And Webb's taken the lead of the race. So yeah, definitely liking that. Quite a long race this, 30 laps. 30 laps, damn. The races are getting longer. Gascar has moved up to 2nd place, so we're running 1-2, which is nice. Comfortable first race of the season so far for us, really, isn't it? Good thing is we're quite a lot faster as well than the other cars. So we're actually pulling away. We are coming up to a lot of traffic now, a lot of back markers. $16 laps remaining, so we can't go to the end. So we are going to have to make another stop. So it's going to be a 3-stop race, this. I'm going to switch the strategy again. I'm going to put him on the soft tyre rather than the super soft. See if I can get him to the end, maybe? It's going to be tough. He ain't going to have the fuel to do it. Oh, the suspension's going to break. Of course it will. After I've been into the pits. After I've made my stop. Why didn't you give me that message before? Then I could have done something about it. I'm using Harry's ERS to try and catch and overtake Gascar, but he hasn't been able to do it. Gascar's got a full battery, so at any time Gascar can pretty much stretch his legs. Just going to start dialing everything back. So Webb's going to have issues as well with his suspension. You can get him to push now. We're going to bring him in. Fix his suspension, send him back out. Fix. Anything else need fixing? Not going to add any charge to the battery at that point. Bring him in for his final stop of the race. Fix his suspension too. And go nice and steady on the pit stop for him, balanced pit stop. Because obviously he doesn't have the relationship with the mechanic yet. Gaspar has managed to stay in the lead. He's doing very well for the team. So first race of the season, a 1-2 finish. Potentially. And by quite a margin as well, by the looks of things. Webb's catching him, Webb's catching him. So in his first race for the team, Gaspar picks up a victory. Wow. And ahead of Webb, our long-established driver. That is quite an achievement. And in some ways, that's the result I want, because obviously if Webb wins the race, he's going to demand a huge bonus, which will hurt our finances. So actually Gaspar winning does us a favour. It saves us some money. So yeah, 1-2 in the first race of the season. Now let's see if we get through scrutineering. That's the only thing. Scrutineering, no, they've caught us, they flagged us up. Okay, Gaspar still wins, but it's Webb. Webb's car got pulled up and he got demoted down to 8th place. Oh no, that's not good, because that part's going to get banned now and we're going to get fined for using it. It was a gamble, and it didn't pay off, but thankfully it doesn't affect Gaspar, who still gets the race win for us. Our second win in our career. Our second race win. That's not bad. It's not bad. It's positive. It's more encouraging. The fact that we dominated that race, that's an encouraging sign for the season ahead. Maybe the car's not as bad as I thought it was at the start of this season. Perhaps maybe everybody's car struggles. Be interesting. I've not really studied the breakdown and seen how every single element of our car stacks up with the rest of the, you know, the rest of the field. Team marketability's gone very high because obviously we managed to win, which is great for us, but we've lost nearly 2.4 million on that race. That's not good. That is going to hurt us. That is going to hurt us big. If we keep losing that every race, there's 11 races this season, that'll be like 22 million we lose, and we've only got 10 million in the bank to start with. We would be minus 12 million come the season's end. That's bad. I need to get on top of that and try. Well, I can't do it, really. There's nothing I can do. Wages are wages, ultimately. Wages are wages. I can't do anything about it. They've signed their contracts. I've just got to hope I can attract some really big paying sponsors as the season goes on. I signed a few though last season, didn't I? So maybe I'm not going to have many potential opportunities to sign new sponsors. But we'll have to see. First race of the season done. Great result, but obviously some concerns going forward with finances now. Join me again in the next video.